think me and you wearing the same colors right now.
I don't know. I got on a old sweatshirt.
Hold on, Grandpa. I gotta get my bottle open. The one thing I messed up on.
That's what I talked about. And then I began to lay out for him. We actually had a conversation. I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was April, and I ran.
All right, I'm back.
Which room are you in your living room?
No. I'm in the guest room, which is technically my work office.
Are you in your work office?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I was just wondering. I seen the color. I don't. That's a sort of a. I don't know what that is. Green, blue. Your wall.
Oh, it's like turquoise.
Turquoise. That's what I mean. Okay, yeah, it looks nice. It looks nice.
Thank you. I mean,
Nice job.
I appreciate that. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Food's coming in hot, live in full effect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just posting oh, he's joining. I'm posting that we're live.
Oh, okay. You said you're posting.
Yeah, that we're live.
Oh, okay.
Let people watch the show.
Okay, I didn't know how you do that. I mean, I didn't know you did that. Hey, look at that. Who got look at this background.
Yeah.
Hey, Pops.
Yeah. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. How you doing?
You went from being
good. How about yourself?
No, I'm doing pretty good, I guess.
He went from being in Africa to putting himself on a time machine.
No, that's Jael.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, well, Jael was the one who won the Chicago Chess Championship at 6, right?
Oh, he was on the team. But he was like 4.
I've been telling people for years that he was 6 years old and won the whole city's tournament.
He might have won some. He won some different tournaments. He's pretty good.
Thankfully, no one fact checks.
Right. Don't say that around Daddy. He'll fact check you.
Oh man. I told Grandpa we gotta be studious with the time today. I got a meeting at 3, so we're gonna have to hit the ground running. So
okay.
I got some. Grandpa, what beer you got?
An hour,
Brett, what beer you got today?
Oh, you're ready. Okay.
Oh, I'm ready.
I'm gonna see if I got a local light.
Oh, that's different. What is that? Is that Uber beer?
I'm putting it up there for Freddie to look and see. Do you recognize that?
Yeah, Shorts. That's a Shorts brewery.
Yeah, Shorts Brewery, local light. I'm gonna say because you sent it to me.
Uber beer.
Yeah.
I want to see if you recognize. Yeah, it's a light. I had never even seen this one before. Local light.
Yeah. Trying to find what you like.
Yeah.
I didn't got on the Pooh Bear side of the game. Some backwoods bastard.
Okay, backwoods bastard is real.
Ale aged in bourbon barrels. Uncle Pooh Bear got a bourbon barrel aged beer every episode.
Oh, okay.
That's funny because this time I got a bourbon barrel aged imperial stout, but it's a parabola. Let me take off my background.
Sound like a math equation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me see if I do the Grandpa. I got my glass today, Grandpa. You see that?
See that foam? Man, I pulled a little heavy, but man, that foam really, that head on that beer.
You like that?
Yeah.
Grandpa just be pouring just to pour. He ain't.
There we go. So more beer in a box. So this one came in a box.
Beer in a box.
Yeah, that's the Parabola by Firestone.
All right.
This is 2019.
Firestone makes tires and beer.
That's when it was brewed.
Yeah, 2019. This is 13% alcohol. I don't know if you see that.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. 13%. You're gonna be real chill today.
And I went and got my mug today.
What the fuck?
The DAD.
What is that stand? What is the?
That's just Dad. My boys bought it for me for Father's Day.
I see. Okay, Dad. Oh, yeah, it's real Dad. Okay. I thought DAD.
Yeah, look at that though. Don't that look good?
That looks solid.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I stay away from.
Smells fantastic.
Give us a little history on what you're drinking.
Yeah, let's see. Well, I'm starting off with like a, I'm expecting a 7.58.
7.58. Now let me see what I got here. I done lost my head, so.
He alleged that his rival is susceptible to global, quote, chess players, and blamed Biden repeatedly for the.
What do you think, Grandpa? What you give your rating?
This is another
It is clear this is what
5.5. So I can reach a 6. If I ever get up to 8, you know, I'm gonna go out and get me a case of.
Look at that 5.5. That means you like it.
Yeah, I know. I see if I ever get to 8, though, you know, I keep mine down. I don't start up there.
I am here.
Ain't no room for growth. I got room for growth, see.
Ain't no room for growth.
What you got, Josh?
Let me see. This smells like a lot of stuff Uncle Pooh Bear be drinking. Let me see.
Oh, you named it though, didn't you?
Yeah, it was that backwoods bastard.
Oh, okay. I forgot. Okay.
Yeah, it does. It tastes like a lot like Uncle Pooh Bear be drinking. It's not as heavy. It's not as, it does have a very grainy aftertaste, but you could definitely taste the coffee, the chocolatey notes into it.
And that alcohol and content in there pretty aggressive, ain't it?
It's, you know, it doesn't normally when the alcohol content's high in these type of beers, it tastes kind of syrupy to me, but I don't have that syrup taste. So it's like this, I don't know, a 6.25. I'm not high on it, but it's not bad.
I think it gets better as you drink it.
I think
you must be high on
alcohol.
Yes, sir. At least you staying in the arena, you know, where you can grow.
Yeah, you know, it might slide up to a 6.5. I don't know. Let's see how the day goes. Well, did you rate?
I'll try to see what the
Uncle Pooh, you rate yours?
Yeah. This is like a steady 7.75. It's solid.
Yeah, isn't age enough?
I don't the Bourbon County stuff I be drinking is just the next level of beer. Like I don't think this can get into that category.
What makes it the next level?
oh.
Man, like the complexity of it, you know, the flavoring, the combinations, like when I mean complexity, it's like some beers, like you taste it on the fore palate, like the mid palate, like going in, and then like when you swallow, and then like you exhale, then it like comes back with like a different flavor, like you notice a different hint or a different note, like that's what I mean by complexity. And they just do it the best. They do it to another level when they're aging beer in bourbon barrels. So getting the bourbon overtone, not making it too strong, you know, but then making it noticeable, but then also bringing forth the different flavors. Like it's just a different level of brewmaster, you know, or recipe or whatever they got going on.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I can see that. I think I don't know. I think I might be turning to Grandpa. I'm not really feeling like the super. I used to love like stuff like this. Again, I'm just not. Maybe I'm not feeling it. Maybe I'm just going through a different stage in my life.
Yeah. So you're not feeling what? That beer?
Well, it just kind of. It's all right. I mean, I think I might stay at 6.25 on this one.
That's good.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty good rating actually for that. You know, 3.
You got a little more room to grow.
Oh, this might just be where it is.
Yeah, I think that's where it's at, you know. But Founders got some racist, some racial something is swirling around that company. Founders, they're there in Michigan.
I might be tasting that. I might be tasting the
tasting.
What's the name of it?
Its founder is Backwoods Bastard. That might be where I'm tasting it. I might not. My palate might not be agreeing with it.
Oh,
this reeks of racism.
It tastes like 1944 racism. I mean,
overt and in your face, huh?
Yeah, he getting.
Yeah, very. I feel like every time I sip it, the beer's calling me boy. You
silly, man. What's our topic today? Do we got one?
I think we'll kind of stay light today because we had a heavy episode last week. It's a lot of stuff that actually has happened too, considering.
Hey, you know what we ain't heard about?
What?
Pops, we ain't heard nothing about the lawn in a while.
Oh, the lawn? Oh, the lawn's shaping up, man. I'm trying to get it so thick and block out the weed, Man, I done seeded about 2 or 3 times, and it's shaping up,
Yeah.
Now, I be going for the Pulitzer Prize or some kind of prize. What kind of prize go with lawn?
Let's make one up, man. Come on. We call it the Freddie.
The Freddie Prize. Oh, I'm moving up, man. I looked out there, man. I keep patting myself on the back. I got of course, my water bill going to be looking kind of rough this month.
If you want to talk about water, I know in Detroit and there's like a Facebook group of the people who own houses in our area.
Yeah.
And apparently DTE and the water company have got together and said we about to do some wild stuff. One dude posted he got to pay like $830 something for his water bill this month.
What? I mean, like that. He must got a swimming pool.
No, he was just like he was making complaint. He was like, does anyone else water bill jump 3 times what they've been paying in a month? And it's wild. Like I don't.
You're scaring me now, man. Because
I'm not sure if they did where you're at, Grandpa or Uncle Pooh, but in Detroit they have it where DTE will automatically charge you a certain amount depending if you sign up for this program or not every month based on their estimates.
Yeah.
And I think maybe some chickens came home to roost because like last month or something they were going through and upgrading, I guess, their equipment, and people's bills just jumped from there. And I get it because people are working from home more, but I don't think that people are using 3 times the amount of resources that they were using beforehand. I can't imagine that.
The wild thing is you ain't got no recourse.
Yeah, it's not like there's another option. Like, you gonna fight DT? Who can give you power? You can start lighting propane and heating your house with those little tanks?
They like, what you gonna do? Look, we wake up, somebody in the neighborhood be stealing our water. I don't know. I can't confirm or deny that fully. You got to get a Ring doorbell. That's what we gonna need.
Yeah, just get a Ring camera. Put it right there on the what's it called? What it actually called? A spigot.
The spigot. Yeah.
What is the name of the new hoses you buy? The ones that I'm telling you, they come in the plastic thing. New, they're 50-foot, 100-foot hoses.
A water hose?
Like you round them up?
No, they kind of like when the pressure's off of them, they kind of shrink somewhat.
Oh, I know what you're talking about those compact water hoses.
What do you call them?
I don't know. They're just water hoses.
No, but they got a name, a company name.
Well, no, it's a bunch of them now. It's just water hoses are starting to be like that.
I want to advise people: do not leave the pressure on the hose. When you're through with it, cut the water off from your spigot. Because if you leave it on, I had an experience where it was raining and all the water was coming down, and I thought that was rainwater, but the hose said lost, elasticity or whatever it is, and it was water I was paying for, you know.
Not only that, Grandpa,
When it started raining, the water still kept coming. Went out there and found out this brand new hose got a hole in it, you know. Man, it's like a sprinkler. So I'm thinking, he said $800 for water bill. I'm thinking maybe I might be in that range because they ran.
well, no, they're charging people for Grandpa. They're charging people for sewage runoff. So when it rains and stuff, and that water goes down your driveway and goes into the drain, they're charging you for that now.
Well, yeah,
Come on, how are they charging you for that?
It's cause the sewage.
You pay a price for what your sewage is, no matter where the water goes.
Yeah,
They don't monitor the water going into.
right. That's what I'm saying.
But
Like they charging you for sewage, but I mean, you know, that's part of the bill.
For the
No,
price,
it was a thing that came up.
if you use so many gallons of water, then that's double in sewage. That's where you get the big price at.
Well, it was a thing that happened.
Not so much as how much water I use, but they're gonna double that price for the sewage I use, which is and the water went into the ground. It didn't go out in the street; it went into the ground. You know.
Well, it was a thing. It was a thing in Detroit like a year or so ago. I think I remember someone was explaining to me like where they changed it where there's much like because when it rains, water runs off from your grass and your soil into the drainage, right? That's a fee now. And they were explaining like that's why I was joking. I'm like, man, I might as well just cover up my whole front lawn with pavement because I'm like, they do it by how big your lawn is and how much runoff water comes from there. And that's a fee. And I'm like, if it's raining and the water's running, I mean, that's from the sky. You gonna charge me for nature?
I'm learning on that one.
They're trying to I'm telling you, man, they're trying to squeeze every little nickel, dime, penny, Canadian currency they got out of you now, man.
You ain't got far to go to get to me. One more squeeze.
But no, man, these taxes, dude. Like every year, like I was talking to like a money person like a few weeks ago because I was just like, when you know how like people were talking about how like these rich people are paying like 15% of their taxes and stuff, where the normal person is paying like a lot more. And I'm just like, let me just talk to a money person. How do I get some of that? Because I'm like, if it's legal and they're on the books doing it, I should be doing it because I'm trying to save some money, right? And for the most part, it's like, man, it's like it's fine. It's literally financial gymnastics. It's like how you word deductibles and things like that. It's wild. And like the water company and the power company is doing that exact thing on the billing cycle. They're like, hey man, did you know that your grass is doing zoopity doodah and we're gonna have to charge you for it? And I'm like, the Earth's been doing this forever. Now you gotta charge me, charge the Earth. That's the game, man. You gotta get that. You gotta get that. Stay in the black always. Uncle Pooper knows about that. He's a business. He's a mogul. Business mogul. Yeah, I was actually. I kind of wanted to talk about one thing really quick. It's interesting because I've seen a lot of responses about it, and I don't know. Like Grandpa, when like a prominent black person, a prominent black figure in society passed away when you were younger, did people react the same way that people are reacting to Chadwick Boseman passing away?
Well, you remember now we got social media now, where a lot of times black people passed away and you didn't even know about it unless you bought the Ebony magazine or something, you know.
Or Jet.
It wasn't in the paper, no front page stuff, you know. You had to go to the source, you know. And Ebony was the source at the time. All the information you got about black actors or black singers and stuff, you got it out of Ebony, you know.
Right.
Or the black paper, like the Pittsburgh Courier, the Michigan Chronicle. That was your source of information, you know. So
yeah, well, what I'm asking is like, did people seem really affected by Chadwick Boseman passing away as if they knew him personally? And I'm not going to begrudge anybody for mourning how they mourn or whatever, because you know some dude did pass away. But I'm saying in the black community, like, was that a big thing? Or even you can ask this Uncle Pooh Bear too. Like, did people like react the way they're reacting? Like, you know, it's like a big deal.
Tammy, remember now the communication. It's an isolated incident back in the day, you know. And if you didn't read the Michigan Chronicle, the Pittsburgh Courier, you never know it, so there's no chance like morning. I'll give you a perfect example amongst the president, like when President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, it was on your daily paper, across the front. So you mourn blacks and whites and everybody else mourn Franklin Delano Roosevelt because as far as they was concerned, he brought a little bit of progressive
thinking.
Yes, thank you. But anyway, I see you would never know about a black person passing more like because it wasn't hardly on the radio or nothing, so you had to get other sources. But they eventually got around to and they come out with a Jet magazine,
You know what? Yeah, I feel like Uncle Pooh Bear is he's not really chiming in on that. He's like, I don't care, nigga dead. I mean, you guys, you can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you. Yeah, you sound far away.
Where you at? Where are you talking from?
I don't know. He's from space right now.
Can you hear me?
He must be. He's not. Dang, he really got his wall painted in Q colors, yellow and purple right now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Yeah, what happened?
I don't know. All of a sudden, you just faded away.
Yeah, you sound like you were fading to black.
Yeah, that's weird. Anyway, all right. You can hear me though.
Yeah,
very good. Very loud.
Man, what was we talking about?
Like, we're just saying, like, have you noticed it's been like a lot of people, like, it's a huge outcry about Chadwick Boseman passing away. And
yeah, I think I'm with you, brother. I think people always mourn, people that they respect and they honor. So when they hear it, like Pops is saying, like there's just a lot more. You're just a lot more aware of who's passing now. People have been dying forever, and
the iPhone, the television. Back in there was no television, there was no iPhone, there was no computer,
internet,
wasn't no internet, well, none of that stuff,
Yeah.
So if the papers didn't put you in there with some little small article, nobody would never know you were passed,
Right.
Okay. Well, I guess the other part of it is
it's a different world now,
But I guess the other part of it is because he passed away from colon cancer. Does this make you want to get checked now more so than you did before? If you even got checked for colon cancer. Were you in that age range?
Yeah. We better get checked, right?
You
I
become
think
more
definitely.
aware of it. I've had three colonoscopies.
Yeah.
I've had 3 of them. The last time I went, though, the doctor said, well, you don't need to come back no more. Something else is going to get you for your colon. You don't need no more colon check because you be dead from something else.
Hey, don't call that doctor no more. They're like, we're not going to check on you. Just
don't come back no more. Something else is going to get you for your colon.
like, we didn't expect you to be here this long anyway. So
Right.
You made it.
Yeah.
But I think his, I don't know. I think him passing and then what everybody takes away is so suddenly, even though maybe he obviously knew what was going on, right?
Oh yeah, he was 4 years fighting it.
Yeah.
He fought that 4 years.
I just think a lot of people are inspired, by him right now. And, they're just letting it go. And you're just seeing it because of social media. So
Right.
Well, I mean, like, so it's like this. It's I mean, like, are there still stigmas for men getting their colons checked? Like when I was younger, it was like a joke, like, oh, you're gonna get someone gonna ram a pole up your butt or whatever. And I'm like, are people mature now? Are people like, yeah, I need to check my.
Come on, man. Ain't nobody got no maturity, but I mean, you still got to do it. I mean, people are still doing it, but they just making fun of it, But,
But it saves a lot of lives, because you get polyps in your colon, but they don't have to be cancerous. They be benign, So if you got some polyps, you say, oh, they're benign, so you kind of little ease there, but you go back and make sure it doesn't turn cancerous,
I have a question really quick though. So I understand he fought by himself for not by himself, but just he kept his circle tight, and that's honorable, right? You don't want everybody in their business, but there's such a like going forward, there's such a stigma in our community for trying to be healthy. Like sometimes people make fun of you for trying to be healthy. Like, do you think now that people have seen this happen to such a big public figure, especially a black public figure, that black people will start taking the extra steps in their health checks? Will we be more cognizant of like, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't wait till I'm 40. Maybe I should, like, I'm 35, I'm not 35, but I'm 35. Maybe I should get a colonoscopy now, or maybe I should do this, that, and the third. Maybe I should get these checks because, a lot of people don't like going to the doctor. That's not a foreign thing. There's people who just outright don't like going to the doctor.
Right. Like, it makes you aware of colon cancer. A lot of people probably don't even heard of colon cancer, so they not no fear of it. But when somebody has like this young man had it, he woke up a whole lot of people. You may have had something problems, you might have just disregarded, whatever it was,
Yeah, I mean, Auntie Crystal's like health group, like, that's a coalition of people who are interested in being like workout, shape, and healthy. But like, are people going to get more into like, I see people talking like there's a few Detroit restaurants that are vegan. Like, are people going to decide they want to try to eat more healthy? Like, I mean, it's a wake up call for people, and is it just like people are mourning and they're just talking crazy and they're going to go back to what they were?
They not. It's going. I mean, the trend is going to stay what the trend is. I think it's an uptick, and maybe it'll accelerate the trend in this burst. But it's not going to be no massive revolution. It just never is. Yeah. It should be, but folks, I think in this age of social media, I think it has like perpetuated like ignorance, right? Like you got access to all the information in the world, and then what really penetrates mainstream society is really like a level of ignorance, and it's like jokes around our health, it's like we don't get serious about something until it starts happening to us, right? A lot of people were saying COVID is trash, and then somebody in their family died from it, and then they got serious about it. And this is kind of like the same thing on the health side.
This is going to make a whole lot of people aware of the colon cancer and give them a second thought. So maybe I should check myself out,
That's true.
Yeah.
We got a person in the comments, I believe this is Auntie, saying, I get colonoscopies every 5 years.
Uh-huh.
That's a commitment. And I hope this does wake people up to getting healthier and going to the doctor. Now, there's the doctor and then there's Grandpa's doctor, because Grandpa's doctor said don't ever come back here again.
Yeah, well, he kind of kicked in the age group, But I've had one, I was getting them in 2 years sometime, I think I've had 3, but one of them was 2 years because they were concerned because there was colon cancer in my family. My mother had it, And so that would put that awareness sign, on me to look out, because it can be, I guess.
Did not Effie pass away from cancer too?
No, she had a stroke. She had a stroke.
I thought she had cancer for some reason.
I think Ruby might have had cancer. I know she had it once before and she beat it. I'm not so sure about the second time. I'm quite sure it might have had something to do with the cancer, Yeah, I'm sure.
It's definitely interesting. Like I was just I don't know, man. I think Uncle Poober is right. I think people are just going to kind of go back and through the motions, and like because it just happened, people are going to, they're going to juice cleanse this week, and then next week they're going to be back on their BS, and nothing's going to really change. I'm not really. I mean, I do think it's a psychological thing. Like, people mourn and they try to. Some people will change. It's a small number, but some people will. Not everybody's going to do the jump off the cliff thing, but I think it does. I think conversations do need to be had more about, not in a joking fashion either, but like in a welcoming fashion. Like, it's okay to try to take care of yourself and do these things. It's not like, people are gonna make fun of you for it. Because
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, I think more people try to be healthier than we think of, than that talk about it. But it's like it's unless like, but people are visual. So when I say that is, so if you say you're like trying to eat healthier, but you don't look it, people are like, nah, you just playing. And then like, they try to discourage you because you're like, unless you got 6-pack abs and like, you can do standing backflips, people like, man, you just playing, man. Because, it's a lot of people don't, it's truth be told, people aren't really supportive. And like they're supportive of the success. Like when like people are like, for example, Grandpa does Senior Olympics. They're supportive of his gold medals. They see his pictures and like, oh, that's so cool. But people aren't gonna be out here trying to run with him every day to keep him on the good foot. Or like, if I'm trying to lose like what 20 more pounds. When I lose it, people are like, oh, that's such great stuff. But when I'm doing it, I look like a big wagon wheel flopping about. You know what I mean? Like we got to do better in the process of supporting the ideals of being healthier and make it a cool facet of life.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because
Getting back to the Senior Olympics, excuse me. Right now, I'm too old maybe to want anything except I would like to participate again in the Senior Olympics. Sometimes in the evening I can barely walk or get up. I'm so sore.
Is
But
that why all the events are during the early morning?
Tanaka, remember I tell you about the Japanese guy?
Yeah.
Now he's 90 years old and he's running the 15-second 100 meters now. Tell me he either knows something or he has some pretty doggone good genes, So I'm thinking in terms of, it ain't just his genes, he knows something. Maybe it's a way of living, maybe it's a diet or whatever it is, but he's doing something that very few people do, We got some guys can run 16 seconds or 15.9 or something like that. But he's doing a 15.08. So I don't think this was all genes. I think that he got some kind of, I don't know, meditation or
I mean, like,
he's got a secret I'd like to find out about.
So look at the Japanese culture. Like I had learned just like a couple weeks ago that like it was like in this past century where it was, I'm not this past century, but it was not too long ago where it was meat was outlawed. Like everyone was vegetarian and stuff like that. Like it's a cultural thing. Like they're just I mean that's great. I mean like I would hope that everyone decides that they want to be supportive as everyone is as them in terms of being more health conscious. But that's not to say that their whole way is perfect because I mean you might find something that works for you, Grandpa. Everybody's body's different. Everybody's area is different. So you just gotta find what works for you. And it's just the fact that, what I'm saying is this. There's like Uncle Pooper, you said, we're in a social media age. There's tons of people who post like pictures of themselves going through the transformation process. And when you put in the context of that, they're like, everyone's like, oh yeah, keep going, keep going. But if someone just takes a picture of themselves and doesn't give context, you'll see people tearing people down. And it's like, it's almost like you got, excuse me, people are so used to seeing tags, hashtags and stuff, kind of giving them commands of how they should think in relation to something, as opposed to being like, why am I doing this the way I'm doing it? You know what I mean?
But I think you was on to something, even when you said people just aren't supportive in general, because like what's weird is Crystal's fitness is not a game group, right? Her fitness group, like kind of started to evolve out of her posting her pictures on social media, posting her workouts and all of this. And like in the beginning, it would be like a little bit of support, but then after a while, people start to become like annoyed over the pictures, right? Because what someone posting what their regular routine does exposes what you're not doing, at least on social media. That's how this is like how it works. You know what I mean? So I don't like Crystal's post. I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to comment on it. I'm not going to engage it because really day after day, she's working out, she's eating right, she's posting all of this stuff. And it's really a constant reminder of what I'm not doing.
Yeah.
So they don't really like that mirror. Nobody likes that mirror, right? We don't like to really see ourselves like that, especially being in lack, you know. And then, so Dad, you talked about, did he know something? Did the Tanaka guy, did he know something? What does he know that's different? I don't think it's genetic. What is it different? I just got done with David Goggins' book. Are y'all familiar with this? Can't Hurt Me?
Man, I just heard Goggins the first time when you said it.
Man, listen, get this dude book, Can't Hurt Me. Pops, Sean says this dude is on another level. Like, hold on, let me say this. He's the only man that has been special forces in the Navy, the Army, and the Air Force. He's been special forces in all three branches. He's a SEAL.
Because he's on YouTube.
Yeah.
He's one of the strongest people of
he holds the world pull-up record.
Right, yeah.
He's an ultra marathoner. He's raised millions of dollars for the Wounded Warrior Fund.
Yeah.
He's run the Boston Marathon.
Yes.
You know, he's like a firefighter now. Man, dude's life is insane, right? But he talks about most people don't want to push past pain, right? So they can't really achieve anything in life. So they don't want to push. They like got a cap on their brain, right? They can't go past it. So he talks about how to push past that.
Pain is the VIP rope to success.
VIP road to success. Yes, it is.
You know what, though? I think
when you don't want to do it,
I'm saying the right thing or not. But pain, I think you have to identify with. You know, if you kind of isolate and look on it, it can be hurting bad. You know, but if you make it a part of the essence of you, I think you can handle pain much better.
Yeah.
Am I making any sense?
Yeah. Well, so Goggins talks about it. He says it's callous in you got to callous whatever it is. So pain hurts the most in the brain, in the mind.
Yeah.
So
okay, that's what I was talking about.
You gotta callous your mind for pain. You gotta callous your body to just run through it, to keep going through it, or whatever it is. But really, you got to get your mind, because your body got 100%, right? Whatever that is. But in your mind, when you get to 40%, you be like, hey, whoa, we better cool out. We better stop right here. And he says you got to get used to going past that 40%. Then you can really find extraordinary.
You know, sometimes you isolate each part of your body for pain. And if you go through, you have a little countdown throughout your system, you'll find out that when you look, if this arm ain't got no pain in it and you concentrating your energy over here, you don't feel the pain over here no more. It's only when your mind comes back over here is when we say, wow, and this is surely killing me. But for that second or two, when you got your mind over, so the mind plays a hell of a role, you know, in you handling pain, you know. In other words, if you could isolate your mind and quit thinking about that pain, even though the pain is still there, you won't experience it.
Me and Chris was talking about, like, you go for a run, right? So imagine you're out for like a 6-8 mile run. So you're out there for an hour or so, right?
Yeah.
And you're running, like, man, at mile 2, you can have like the worst cramp in the world, right? And you're like, oh my God, this cramp is killing me. And then, you know, by the time you get to mile 3, it might be gone. By the time you get to mile 4, you done forgot you even had a cramp. Right? Like, and then you can like keep running. It's like when you face that first bit of adversity, like you can't stop. Like the body, that doesn't mean that the body is done. It's uncomfortable, but you got to like push through that. And you know, you just find that philosophy really happens everywhere in your life, but particularly when you're working out or running, you're gonna have that ache. I can't tell you how many times I've started off on my run going down the street right here. By the time I get to that turn right there, I'd be like, ooh, my ankle or my knee, wait a minute, let me think about it. And then by the time I change the music or something, I'd have forgotten, my body to loosen up and I'm like, gone. You know, but
I've experienced what I guess you might call it the zone, where you run 3 or 4 miles after that, and then you go into another transition. And that, you were like, oh man, this is the best thing that ever happened. You could run another 10 miles, you know, with that thought process, you know.
Yeah, well, with that thought process, that body might say something different if you ain't been trained.
Well, I think a lot has that to do with, at least with running, is, I mean, I'm not a scientist, a kinesiologist or anything, but I think of it like you spend so much of your time, at least in this society, sitting down, sedentary, doing computer work or whatever, and your body adapts to it. So it's just like, hey, I'm designed to do this now. So like what you're pushing through is the switch from being sedentary into being, you know, kinetic. No longer are you potential. You are kinetic. This is who you are when you're running. Running is a great equalizer because it lets you know where you are. And I mean, like, to transition to everything else we're working. I mean, it's like when you're swimming, and like when you're learning how to swim. If you're like a swimmer, like when I was on the swim team in high school, and
Yeah, I forgot you was a swimmer.
and you're learning how to breathe, and like they tell you to turn your head and everything. And it's no, I wasn't no championship swimmer. I was I learned to swim, but you know, like if it was a real swimmer, I get destroyed. But it's one of those things where they teach you how to do it, and it's like, you don't, what they don't tell you about when you're swimming is you do still sweat. You're expending a lot of energy because you're using your whole body, and you're thinking like, when you're thinking you're on water, and I'm like, oh, I should be fine. You know, I'm all water, but no, it's a different type of beast. Because like you ache from head to toe because you're using everything,
Yeah.
and it's one of those. It's like what you're saying, what Grandpa and you were saying. It's a mental block because like your body wants to conserve energy. Your body is like you're consciously aware, like, hey, I'm gonna get food and ability to recharge and everything. Because in society we have the ability to get food more readily. We don't have to hunt and gather and stuff. But it's like your reptilian and your ancient brain is like, dude, we don't know when we're gonna get any sustenance next time. We better not just burn all this stuff out. So it's like you got to get past essentially how your body is genetically constructed. And he's like, you know what? I need to do this right now because I need to finish it. And there are people who train all the time. And like training is really just to get your body adjusted to the action that you're going to want to do consciously. Because, you know, a regular dude who doesn't run or walk or doing exercises, he goes to the gym, he does one set on the bench, he's like, I'm done for the day. And it's because his body's not used to those exercises. And training allows your body to get into the motion of changing from being sedentary to being a whatever the opposite of sedentary is.
No, you were speaking of reserving energy, and I think about the marathon runners, and they're going along there, but somewhere deep in their minds, some of them got, I'm going to need some energy for the big push at the end. And some guy is running along there, and he probably wind up winning it, and he says, I'm gonna exert all my energy and stay ahead. In which they have programmed themselves not to try to save nothing, you know, put everything out there.
Right.
And when they do, all of a sudden they get, I'm assuming they get into that zone, and that energy that they thought they were gonna have to need, they don't need it. They just be going on anyway, you know. Where the other guy done reserved any, but when the time comes for the big push, he can't catch up. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he's too far gone.
It's all about preparation. It's all about mind state. And it all ties in what we were talking about before. People have to be okay with and deciding, and like, it's not just one thing. That person who you said, just like, I'm going to decide to use all my energy. There's some special people who can just like, I don't need anybody else. I'm going to tell myself to do it. But there's some people who achieve a lot because of their support system. And I think it's a thing where we got to be more open to supporting people trying to do better during the process than just when they succeed. Like that dude who ran, or that lady, or that dude who ran the marathon and succeeded at it. I guarantee you, there's probably like 2 or 3 people who are in their corner, like, keep pushing through. But everybody was there when they succeeded at the end of the marathon. Congratulate them. And we need to be more of the congratulating while people pushing through, because I guarantee you, there's a lot of people who need that, and that doesn't make you weak. That just means that you're that type of person. and we got to go. We got to move from this. I think it goes back to it's the American mindset where everyone has to be like. I'm not gonna say lone wolf because wolves aren't. They're like this tiger mindset. Like we're all this beast that we got to hunt by ourselves and do these things, and that's dumb. That doesn't help anybody. You're not like it's like a small percentage of people who can do that, but everyone else, like you need to find a support system, and we need to be more supportive. That's kind of what I'm thinking about.
I think that's, hey man, that's funny because it sounds like the youth. That's like idealistic. That's dope. And that's what I think we need. I guess I'm in my middle ages, so I'm a cynic now. But I've kind of always been a cynic. But
think about it, Uncle Pooh Bear. When we were at the virtual graduation, and you guys were telling us that that my cousins were gonna like just be at home for the year, right? Because it's not safe to just go to some public campus or whatever for whatever reason. And like some people were questioning whatever, and now you see universities are doing it, and people were like, well, universities obviously have common sense, but I'm like, but if you knew this was probably going to happen beforehand, why not be supportive of it now so we can just get it out the way? But everyone has to like they have to see somebody who they perceive to be accredited with the right answer. I mean, if it's like they say common sense is common. If you know something is right, whether people agree with you or not, you should be able to stand on it. And if other people have that same opinion, it shouldn't be like a thing where people get crucified for agreeing with you, because it just saves time. People can save time, money, emotional energy, all that type of stuff if people will just stand on what they believed in.
Yeah. That ain't how people work though. They just don't work that way, man. It ain't right. It just kind of is what it is. But I just think like in today's era, I don't think today's era is I don't think people are different today than they were 100 years ago, 50 years ago, 1,000 years ago. I think people are the exact same. I think if Martin Luther King was alive today and he was involved in the social media era, it would be pretty rough for him to rise to be Martin Luther King, because there's so many dissenting voices that actually have sway. So many people that shouldn't be heard got voices.
They were a Hotep.
Huh?
They would call him a Hotep.
Yeah, I mean, it's just we've got a lot of different inventive ways to tear us down, but I think it would be difficult for him to break through in this era, even with his resolve and his, oratory skills and all of that. I think the reason that he succeeded is because his circle was small, and inside of that circle, they were saying, you know what I'm saying, Martin, you killing these fools out here, man. Keep it up, bro. Like everybody was cheering him on and telling him that he was going to make it. He wasn't listening to all of the dissenting voices around the world. I think about like boxers when they're getting ready for that final run, they go into camp or whatever. They spend like 2-3 months before the fight in the mountains or wherever they are, but they're isolated from people because they shutting everything out and they just getting in their zone. They doing what they need to do in order to get there. And I think that like, even like with the weight loss and fitness journeys, like we got to get more into that. You just get into your own personal space. You got your family, you got your close friends, and those people are rooting you on, and you're not really, projecting the social media or any of that mess, because you're going to engage all of that negative element. And that's just what people are. People are naturally, bored, they sensitive. They ain't nobody listening to them. So if I can get a rise out of you, a lot of people will do that. Not all, but, most people honestly don't give a damn about the next person enough to really care one way or the other. So if they see something, they just, I was just being frank, you know what I mean? But like you said, people are just being rude to one another. They'll just say, I was just, that's just what I was thinking. I was just, they're not filtering it.
Dr. King, you refer to Dr. King. Dr. King was a hero in death. He caught hell and I know that for a fact, in life, even amongst his own people.
Yeah.
When he spoke up about the Vietnam War, You should be surprised, or your community that condemned him. You'd be surprised of all the things that have done. The man sacrificed his life, but he didn't experience it because they had so many people who was anti-king in that day. And I've seen it thousands. That's why I come honor the fact that he gave his life, but he didn't experience that heroism until his death.
Yeah, America loved to act like they loved him.
Yeah, I know better.
Yeah, him and Martin Luther King. And Nelson Mandela.
Huh?
Him and Martin Luther King. Malcolm X. Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
They're gonna pull the same thing with Kaepernick in 100 years. Hopefully the brother long life, But they're gonna pull the same thing. The NFL trying to pull it right now. I wish we would have listened to it. Ah, shut up.
Who said that?
The NFL, Roger Goodell came out talking about I wish I would have listened to it.
Yeah.
Shut up. Get out of here, man. I can't stand it.
I mean, so many people have put their lives on the line. Like, and I constantly talk about the 68 Olympics, They had 20 years of suffering for speaking out.
Yeah.
20 years of their life when they come out of college, 20 years of their life, they wasted, people won't give them no job, they blacklist them and everything.
Lost their contracts.
Here's something might be a little bit off the political thing, but let's go back to
oh, I got a great question.
Let's go back to Florida and the senator from Florida, who is a first-term senator, and you know who I'm talking about, right?
Nope.
I mean a first-generation senator from his family, from Cuba.
Keep going to it, Grandpa.
No, I'm trying to come up with his name.
We'll figure it out. Florida senator.
Okay.
Florida senator, the Cuban dude. All right. I know you're talking about.
I just can't call it. But anyway, I was going to say, his father came to America from Cuba.
Marco Rubio.
His father must have had a lot of property over in Cuba. So when they nationalized a lot of stuff in Cuba, he fled, So here's a man with a first generation American from Cuba can rise to the ranks of senatorship when we've had people who've been over here hundreds of years and can't get there, So I'm saying, but the politics of the thing was they made Cuba, Castro as being a terrorist when Batista killed about 20 or 30,000 black people, but they never even mentioned his name.
What? You want them to consider black people as people?
I got that. Evidently they don't, because they never acknowledged that Batista did to the people of Cuba. And they were wondering why come you should like Cuba. But our government takes this thing and make Cuba out there, Castro out the enemy, when he saved thousands of lives, went into homes, educated people. In fact, he got a 99% educational rate over in Cuba, when he came in, only 50% of the people could read and write. But I mean, that's something to think about, how, you can manipulate, certain conversation to think that this man is an evil person. But the first thing they say with him, when Mandela come out of prison, first thing he did, went to Cuba and thanked Fidel Castro.
And they love Mandela. Okay, so real quick on this conversation, I'm almost finishing up a book called Natives by Akala, who's a university professor and a rapper in the UK. But the brother was saying, why do white people love Mandela but hate Castro? And he goes into this, and he's talking a lot about what you're saying, Dad. But he talked about Mandela coming to Cuba to thank Castro for all the work that he did with his work really in Angola and supporting Mandela's party to gain their rights.
Sanctions on South Africa when they were doing that to Mandela. We didn't, sanction, but we can sanction Cuba 90 miles off the coast of Florida.
Exactly what my man was saying. Like, okay, so they both basically overthrew the same regime, right? Like in Cuba, basically Castro, that's what they was overthrowing. In Batista and apartheid is what they were overthrowing in
Africa.
South Africa, right?
Mhm.
So the difference, he says, the reason white folks like Mandela is because when Mandela came to power, he just exonerated everybody that had just did all of the transgressions against the South Africans. There was nothing. All they had to do was say they were sorry, and they never said that. But they kept all of the control, they kept all of the power, they kept all of the trade, they kept all of the control and influence. They loved Mandela. Cuba, it was the exact opposite. Everybody who was in on the raping and the pillaging of the people and the Africans and the Cubans had to go. They had to give up everything. They had to get the hell out the country or get assassinated, right? And they all left. And they all hate Castro for doing the same thing, but it comes down to what happened afterwards. Because if you look at Castro and what he really did around the world, and what Cuba continuously does around the world is lead in medical innovation and medical donations around the world. They got the most doctors and nurses around the world in 132 different countries, even today, donating their services, their information, even in countries where they say they hate Cuba, they still donate to the people because that's in the heart of the Constitution of the people that comes out of the fight from Castro. That comes all through him. And these folks act like they feel like he's demonized because, oh, he did these people so wrong, but they just want to ignore all that he's done under the thumb of the United States, who tried to cut them off and kill them by cutting them off from the world. And they survived anyway with, like Dad said, a 99% literacy rate. People eat. They got one of the best medical systems in the world. They train doctors all around the world, and they're doing all of that with the economic embargo imposed by the United States. Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. Phenomenal. I got fired up. You got to talking about Castro. You got me fired up, man. That dude is amazing. But Sean, I know you got to shut it down, but I got a question for next week.
All right. We might have a guest next week too. I got a friend. She might come on and talk about. She's a social worker.
Oh, that's good.
So we're gonna have some fire if she can come on next week. She said she's gonna give us an hour. So, but ask your question for next week.
Yeah, we can bump. Go ahead, Pops.
No, I was gonna say one more thing. I'll keep bringing up. I don't know whether I mentioned it before, but I told you we were over. Me and Sean, and we were over in Switzerland. And we went to a Burger King, and this young man was working. He was from Portugal, and he was working at the Switzerland at the Burger King. And he looked at us. You know what he said? He said, "I know what you're thinking." He said, "But let me tell you." He said, "I work here at Burger King, and you can make a good living, a decent living here at Burger King." So that just go to show you, the people who are working in these jobs got to make a living for it, and they're getting these minimum wages. They could make a good living if the man wasn't making any profit. Then what he has to do is raise the price of the hamburger. But he should be able to take care of his employees. That's what I'm trying to say. You shouldn't have to work for nothing. If I sweep at Burger King and you sweep at the factory, and you make $20 an hour and I make 10, what's wrong with that picture? Both are sweepers. Are you following what I'm trying to say?
I see what you're trying to say. You're getting to the point. You're getting to that idea that a few executives shouldn't make 500 to 700 times what a regular employee makes.
There you go.
But let's get some final thoughts in here. I gotta head to this meeting.
Okay.
You go, Uncle Pooh. What's your final thought?
Right, so my final thought is the question for next week, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, what businesses can we say that we bring to Inkster? Can we change the economic impact? How can we change the community? Is there a series of businesses, and training centers or something that we can open, say 1, 2, 3, 4, that we can open that could start a ripple effect that changes everything, that could be commuted to, say, Gary, Indiana, East St. Illinois, Baltimore, west side of Chicago, or whatever, to start stimulating change in our communities.
Okay.
So that's what I'm interested in.
Well, I want to say this about Dearborn and the development there in West Dearborn. And I was talking to a friend of mine, he was Arabic, name was Barry. And he was saying that the money that was, you see how well it's developed, right? In West Dearborn.
Yeah.
But the money came from big money from Lebanon, from the East, well, I'll just say the Middle East. But what I'm saying is this, that we have a lot of money invested in different things, but some of that money, somebody could take that money and develop the whole thing, and then then that might be the beginning of the prosperity of Inkster.
Okay. All right, we're gonna talk about it next week, though.
Okay.
All right, guys, everybody, thank you. I'll let you guys in a little while. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, bye, Pops.
See you, Grandpa.
Bye, Sean.
Take care. I'll be ready with my shotgun next week.
Oh,